Now, a strong voice of reform is rare, particularly when it comes to the Saudi Arabia royal family, even more so when it belongs to a woman. Her Royal Highness Princess Basma Aziz spoke candidly to Ndtv about women's rights, the Arab Spring, and her conviction that India is going to be the next superpower.
You have been a strong supporter of King Abdullah in your writings. You actually call him the Lion of the Arabian Peninsula, but you are also a very vocal critic of the ruling elite. Now, with Prince Salman being named successor, how do you feel Saudi Arabia's politics and power will play out in the years to come?
Well, with all frankness and openness, and I still back King Abdullah because he has been like a fresh breath of air to the kingdom. He has brought a lot of insight and definitely exposed women to different venues and ventures that and defied a lot of traditions, not religion. And this is, we have to make sure that we understand this. Our religion has nothing to do with what we see down the streets in Saudi Arabia or anywhere in the world, rather than India, Pakistan, everywhere. It has to do with culture. Islam has been the supporter and the first, actually, religion to give, and the last one, to give women her full capacity and rights. And this is, we tend to overlook it always. Islam has been the power behind Khadija alayha salam to be actually a businesswoman. Islam was the first actually encourager to the Prophet to give his teachings to Aisha alayha salam so she can teach the men his message. So how come at those times it was halal and now it's haram? So it is actually kind of a culture, not religion, which is guiding us. And I actually really would like to sit with any sheikh who knows the Quran, and I would like to talk to him on air and just to really tell me which verse in the Quran says that being merged with men is haram, or being actually riding down the streets with a car is haram, or actually working with men is haram. I would like for anybody to pinpoint me one verse of the Quran that says that. I would really be obliged to be enlightened, because I am not. I haven't found it.
You know, recently we've talked about this decision for Saudi Arabia to allow its women to drive. And it's it's the only country in the world which doesn't allow women to drive. Right. And the fact that Shura Council now has 1/5 of its representatives as women.
Actually was their first session.
Yes, yes.
With the women.
But you have come out and said the right to drive is not the most important right. And this was a controversial remark that you made earlier in media, saying, I do not endorse that right. What did you really mean by that? I do not endorse the right to drive in the streets, and I do not endorse the voting. We did not vote, actually. We put women in the Shura Council. I'm against both. Why is that? So, from a person who's so emancipated and so vocal about women?
Yes, I'll tell you. I think, before learning how to run, we have to learn how to walk. And before we have the right to drive in this middle of the streets, we have to have the rights in our homes. And if women do not have the right to be protected in the streets, how can I feel safe to let my daughter or to drive myself in the middle of the street? There's no law to protect me if I go driving in the middle of the street. And I'm sure and positive, the moment actually the woman takes on that driving license and she goes down the streets with no law backing her up, as in a constitution to protect her, she will be beaten, abused, raped, and taken advantage of. And this is something you don't want to see women doing, being more exposed to in Saudi Arabia.
That's something that resonates with us in India as well, because the Delhi gang rape victims case spoke very, very vociferously to people everywhere. The fact is that the woman might have a right to go watch a movie or go right to work, but doesn't have a right to walk safely in the streets. So how do you stop that?
By actually creating a proper constitution which promotes education first and outmost, how to be protective and to be liable to prosecution under a law that provides this protection. Because in India, Saudi Arabia, and all the eastern countries in the world, what we find is that maybe sometimes there are laws, but they're not implemented. They're not taken seriously when it comes to women. Why? And even here in the States, when it comes to women, laws tend to bend a little bit.